Om Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satgurum Pranatasmiham Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyom Vad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Yo Yati Sarvabhutanam Nirmalayatana Sada Sasangamam Gurudeva Shivananda Prasidatu. Before starting, we thank our gurus. From Govind is Lord Krishna, Badarayan is Lord Vyas, Ved Vyas, who wrote the Bhagavad Gita, and Shankaracharya and our guru. So that lineage is what I just chanted. Without their grace, without their knowledge, I cannot speak anything. So, you mentioned I could speak anything. Today I was asking where you wanted to start. So I just thought we chant chapter 12. So maybe just a few verses from that. I'll just summarize a little bit on those verses. And if it is okay, I'd like to say a little from Ramayana which supports the Bhakti. Will that be acceptable? Okay. Oh, is that? Okay. So I'm following in his footsteps. Okay. So verses 8 to 11, the ones you just chanted, 20 of them. It's a small chapter, but very important chapter on Bhakti Yoga, chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita. And 8 to 12, Bhagavan Krishna is telling Arjuna 4 things to do. And he's saying if the first one is very hard, try the second. If the second is even hard, try the third and the fourth. So first he says, concentrate your mind on me alone. So that may not be possible to do all the time. So he says, if you are not able to do that, then do Abhyas Yoga. So what is Abhyas Yoga? Abhyas means practice. Practice means repeating one thing. So here the indication is that when your mind runs out into the worldly things, bring the mind back to the Lord within. So you try to practice that, because the first one, constantly thinking about me, you are not able to do. So if you can't even do the second one, which is practice yoga, then the third thing Lord Krishna says is, okay, you are unable to concentrate, but whatever work you are doing, do it for my sake. That's the third thing. So he's making it easier and easier in a sequence so that those who cannot do the hard one, even doing the other one will be very helpful. So doing all the actions for Lord Krishna. So let's say you go to work, you do business, you're doing everything you do normally, but you're gonna think in your mind, this is for Lord Krishna, not for me. But you do all the actions, whether it is students are studying, business people are doing business, they are doing it for Lord Krishna. So the same action done with Lord Krishna makes you a bhakt, makes you a devotee. And he says, if you can't even do this one, then the fourth one is offer the result of the action to him. Means, I went and made some money, Lord, by your grace this money came, it is yours. Or I got name, fame, whatever you gained as a result of your action, Lord, this is yours. So these are the four sequential things. He said that try the first one, if not the first you can do, go for second, third and fourth. And then in the 12th one, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasad jnana dhyanam vishishyate, he's saying again what is superior to the next step and the next step. So in this one he says that abhyas means practice. Knowledge, jnana, is more shresht, more superior. So if you do practice, but if you think about knowledge of the spiritual things, knowledge is superior to practice. And dhyan, which is meditation, is superior to jnana. Just knowing about a thing is one thing, but meditating with the knowledge on the God is superior to just knowledge without meditation. And even more than meditation, the important thing is karma phala tyag. Tyag means renunciation, giving up. So you don't give up what you do, you give up the phala of the karma, which is the fruit of the action. If you give up, means in your heart, you just say whether I win or lose, gain or loss, every result is yours. Then you free your mind from the attachment and slavery of the action. Otherwise what happens? The stock goes up, the smile goes up, stock goes down, there's a long face, because mind is slave of the fruit of that action. So the action is not denied. If you give up, tyag means renounce the result or the fruit of the action. You free yourself, and shanti means the peace descends immediately. The moment your heart truly, not hypocritically, in your heart you have to really feel, I do not depend on the result, I completely renounce it. I'll do my work, I'll help the world, I'll make my living, everything you can do. But the result, whether it is good or bad, high or low, beneficial or loss, I do not care about the result. Lord, it is you. If really your heart thinks that very moment, peace will be felt inside. Challenge is there by Bhagavad Gita, anybody can try. And then in the following 13, 14, Lord Krishna is mentioning some qualities of what a bhakt is. And bhakt means what? There is a word in Sanskrit, vibhakt. Vibhakt means separation. So one who never separates from God is the real bhakt. So bhakt means when we have ego, we consider ourselves identified with the body. So I say, I am the body, and I separate myself from the divinity inside. So that separates from God. Even though God is inside all the time,
It's not the body.
body is changing, mind is changing. So when we, and you can prove it by logic too. When you say I was born as a kid in such and such place, I went to elementary school, middle school, high school, I is same. Remember? I grew up, I was 5 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old, 70 years old. The body is growing, body is changing. My mind in childhood was different, and now the mind has changed. So body changes, mind changes, but that I is a constant. So we need to think, what is that constant which is not changing? So if it is not the body, it is not the mind, it must be something beyond it. And that thought leads you to self-knowledge. And the self is the universal self, which is the self of all. So sometimes people have a hard time comprehending, how am I in everybody, everybody is in me, what does it really mean? So in Vedas we have some examples. That same gourd is molded into hundreds of ornaments, ring, bracelet, and we go over this again and again. I've repeated this many times before too. So these examples, if we think over and over again, our mind will begin to comprehend. So same gourd is changed into a ring, bracelet, necklace, but now because we have given it a name and shape and size is different, so we start looking at it, this is different from that is different from that. But if you see the essence of all those different things, of different names and forms, it is nothing but gold. So the same universal spirit is in all of us. We are nothing but that universal spirit. So when we say I am different, that is a false superimposition on our true self, the universal spirit, and we live in that delusion most of our life or lifetimes after lifetime. So what is the goal of life? To remove the delusion and realize the true self. So how to do it and why we are unable to do it, those are good questions. And so Bhagavad Gita is giving the path of devotion in chapter 12 by saying, if you practice this, this and this, whatever is suitable to your mentality, you can do that. So you will be able to help yourself remove that delusion, the false identification with the body, which you are not, but you think you are. And once the false identification is removed, you become the universal spirit, which you are and you have always been, but you had forgotten about. So some of the qualities of Bhakt, who is a Bhakt? Advaishta means he does not hate anyone. Advaishta sarva bhutanam. Sari duniya mein jitni bhi cheezein hain, he has no hatred for anyone. That is a Bhakt. What are other qualities? Matra karun. He is friendly and compassionate. So if you chant the name but you are not friendly and compassionate, then according to this, you are really not a Bhakt. You need to develop those qualities. Nirmamo, nirahankar. These two are very important things. And that again supports the delusion I just mentioned. I identify with the body, that's the ego that do. So that is called ahankar. Nirahankar means Bhakt is different than ahankar. Ahankar is just a superimposition. The God inside is the real self. So when God is saying, Arjun, be nirmamo nirahankar, remove the idea of I-ness and my-ness from your mind. Purify your heart that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the warrior. Krishna is everything and I am fighting with his power and result is his, my fighting is his, everything is his. When that thought becomes embedded in the mind, you realize you can go in samadhi and you realize the true self, which is the goal of life. Everything else we gain, name, fame, money, progeny, everything is left here when the body is left. And then there are three bodies. Some other day we can talk about that. There is a Suksham Sharir, Karan Sharir. So when the physical death comes, only this physical body is left. That I, the real I, with the Suksham Sharir carries on to the further journey. And there is a Garud Puran explaining how that journey, where he goes, what he finds on the way, and I don't know all those things, but the person does not die, I do not die, I change the body. When one Toyota Corolla is back 200,000 miles, I go buy a Lexus. One is gone, the other one comes. So death of the vehicle does not mean death of me. So when the I-ness is into the Lord, then you never die. When it is in the Atma, you never die. Body changes. One comes, the other goes, so on and so forth. And how long it goes? Until you remove the delusion and mind is absorbed into the real self, which is Samadhi stage. And for that person, there is no rebirth. The cause of rebirth is the desire. When we leave the body with desires, those desires become the cause of the next one. Now from Ramayana, we have a few more minutes, Geeta? Okay. So there is Aranyakand is one of the sections of Ramayana, Tulsi Ramayana. And Bhagwan Ram, when he is going to Shabri's ashram. Shabri was a Bhilni. Bhil means low caste, not very intellectual level. So, but she was a great devotee of Lord Rama. And his guru told her, one day Lord Rama is coming to see. When was not said. So all her life she said, I don't know if he may come today. So every day the whole path, and she will clean her place, put it with flowers every day. And you never know when he will show up, and she wants to be ready. So one day time comes and Lord Rama walks into her thing, and she is so delighted, she falls down in his feet, and she says, Kahi vidhi astuti karon tumhari, adam jati mein jadamati bhari. I am a low caste, stupid woman, and you are the Lord. How do I even sing your praise? I don't know what to do. And she is overwhelmed with love and devotion for Lord Ram. So Bhagwan Ram said, कह रघुपति सुन भामिनी बाता, मानव एक भक्ति करना था। आप जानते हैं। तो भामिनी का क्या मतलब है? भामिनी means beautiful woman. So it's just a title, and Bhagwan Ram is addressing Shabri, saying, सुन भामिनी, कह रघुपति सुन भामिनी बाता, मेरी बात सुन, माना हूँ एक भक्ति करना आता, मैं सिर्फ एक भक्ति के संबंध को मानता हूँ। तुम कितने बड़े कुल के हो, जाति के हो, हाउ यू हैव PhD, और इट डजंट मैटर. Your knowledge, money, wealth, power, those things are not important to Lord Rama. Bhakti is very important. And since Shabri had it, so he said, she is great in his mind or heart. And then he says one very good thing, which is proving the same point. Jati pati kul dharam badai, dhan bal parijan gan chaturai, bhakti heen nar so hain kaise, bin jal barid dekhiye jaise. So let me translate those who may not know this Avadi style Hindi, which is 500 years old Hindi from India. Jati Pati means you're like your Brahmins or which caste you came from and your ancestors were high level or low level. Dharam means you are follower of righteousness and you follow dharam things. Badai, you have name and fame in the society and you are high level. People consider great about you. Dhan bal, you have lot of money and you are very powerful. Gan chaturai, you are very clever and full of qualities, worldly qualities. ये सब होते हुए भी भक्तिहीन नर सोहं कैसे means person without bhakti and devotion, even though he has all these things, वो कैसा लगता है? सोही कैसे मतलब कैसा देखने में लगता है? बिनु जल बारिद देखिए जैसे. Barid means cloud. So sometimes big clouds come and wind blows them away, but there is no water in it. It looks big, comes and goes. The dry earth, it doesn't give a drop of water. The parched earth, the thirst is not quenched. And in the summer heat, that cloud comes and goes. So people without devotion for Lord, but having all kinds of power, wealth, high caste, no matter what, how great it is from a social standpoint, they are just like the big cloud, came and gone, kind of useless for the society. So then he says, Navada bhakti kaham tohi pai, savadhan sun dharu man mai. Savadhan means it's a very deep, great thing. I am telling you, so pay attention and listen carefully. Savadhan sun dharu man mai. Mind apna, concentrate kar aur ye sun. So Navada bhakti means Lord Rama said 9 types of devotion. And it's very simple to understand. So that's the beauty of it. I mean, Bhagavad Gita, sometimes you need to pay attention, intellectual level. There are not stories in there, it's just pure Gyan ki baat hai. In Ramayana, there is some story behind and emotion behind, so it's a little bit different. So the 9 types of bhakti, what is that? But before we do the 9 bhaktis, I'll go a little further, and he said, Navama jinke ekau hoi, nari purush sacharaachar koi, जिनके 9 में से एक भक्ति भी हो. I mean, out of 9, even if you have in your heart, and after knowing 9, you can go home and evaluate yourself, how many do I have? But even if you have 1 out of 9, whether it is Nari Purush, Sachar, Achar, Koi, in the whole world, Char and Achar means movable, immovable world, man or woman. So atisay priya bhamini more, sab prakar bhagati drid tore. So he's telling Shabri that even if a person has 1 of the 9, they are atisay means extremely priya more, mujhko bahut priya hai. So when you're going home and if you say, oh yeah, at least I have 1, well, just be sure you are very dear to Lord Ram, whether you know it or you don't know. So now, what are those, and then what was the result of it finally? Let's say if we develop these 9 devotions, type of devotion, or even 2, 3, 4 out of it, what do we get? And what did Shabri got? So yogi vrind durlabh gati hoi, to kehen aaj sulabh kai hoi. The ultimate gain which even yogis don't get after lifetimes of meditation. Shabri, You are going to get it now.